For the longest time, I secretly wanted more. I often found myself shrinking to fit in, settling for what was comfortable, and even selling myself short. Once I finally accepted that we deserve success and we are blessed with the power to achieve it, I stopped playing small. I'm serious about building a life I love, and you should be too. I'm Denise Taylor of DeniseTaylor.live, and welcome to Embrace Your Power. I help women prioritize themselves, their success, and their happiness. Now let's meet this week's achiever whose story will inspire you to embrace your power and go. Well, hello there. It's Denise Taylor here. And you know, each and every week, I am so excited to be connected with you right here on Embrace Your Power. So I want to welcome you. This is the place where you can count on me to always encourage you to build a life that you love. More than that, I believe that God has given us power to do it. You see in his word, he said he didn't give us fear. He gave us power. And when we embrace our power, we can truly be, do, have, and achieve anything that we want. Now, I will tell you, I believe you'll be divinely inspired to go after those things that's going to fill you up on the inside. There is a unique purpose that you have been created to achieve. And when you excel in that purpose, you're going to experience fulfillment and satisfaction like never before. It's going to be long lasting and it's going to feel real good. And this is the place where we want to encourage you to go after that nudge you feel on the inside. Pursue it with diligence because your joy, your happiness, your fulfillment and satisfaction is connected to that. Now, I don't know if you're watching me on YouTube or maybe you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, but I want you to know I consider it an honor to be in your weekly lineup. And so if you haven't yet taken the opportunity to subscribe, if that's available on the platform that you listen to, go ahead and check that button, check that box so that I can show up in your weekly lineup. And more than that, do me a favor and leave a 5-star rating for the podcast. That helps to further our reach so that we can get into the listing lineup of other people who can benefit from the goodness going on here. Now, I will tell you, I am fresh off of watching Wakanda Forever, and that on the heels of Woman King. Let me just say this, between Viola Davis and Angela Bassett, don't y'all be coming for these daughters because these mamas are raising up to go and get the girls. And I love that. I love that message because I know how I would be about mine. And so if you haven't had a chance yet to see either of those movies, I want to encourage you to treat yourself to something that will make you feel really empowered because you can do great things. And those strong examples of positive women will certainly be an inspiration to you. Now, today is Thanksgiving. If you're listening to the podcast on the day that it releases, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to you. In this season of gratitude, this season of thankfulness, I know that I have so much warmth in my heart for everything that I've been able to accomplish right here on Embrace Your Power. And as I was thinking about what I'm grateful for and what I'm thankful for as it relates to being connected with you guys here. This is actually episode number 86. To me, that's incredible because for 86 consecutive weeks, I have been showing up here consistently with a new episode each and every Thursday for you. That takes a lot of commitment, a lot of effort. But I will tell you, on the other side of showing up for you is fulfillment for me. You see, I promised God 3 things. I promised him that I would be seen, that I would be heard, and that I would make life-changing resources available. And that is what keeps wooing me to be right here each and every week for you. And so I am grateful. And if you haven't taken time to listen to all of the episodes. I'm telling you, it's a lot of good stuff right in the lineup of Embrace Your Power that will be a blessing to your soul. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you for helping me to make this possible. And I am so grateful for you. Now, we recently hit a milestone achievement. In the podcast game, they say when you reach 10,000 downloads, like you're considered a mainstay. And I am so grateful that we recently achieved that mark. We hit 10,000 downloads. And as of right now, we have exceeded that in great capacity. And I just want to say thanks. I'm grateful because I get the opportunity to celebrate that by serving you. That's such a huge monument to be able to say that we have hit that height. And I will tell you, I am looking forward to episode 100. It makes me think about all of the celebrations that we see for television shows that reach episode 100. And so I'm trying to, in my mind, figure out how to honor that milestone and that achievement, which will be coming up here soon. So between 86 consistent weeks and over 10,000 downloads on the podcast networks, I have to say thank you and how grateful I am to be connected with you this way. Now, when I was thinking about what to share today, I will tell you I was taken back to a very specific moment that happened to me. And on the outside looking in, it doesn't feel like something anybody should be grateful for. But as I am years away from that experience, and I know how pivotal it was to who I am now, I can look back and reflect and say it was good for me. But in the moment when it happened, I was absolutely devastated. You see, I had surgery in the fall of 2019, and I was off work for 8 weeks. And in the middle of November, I went back to work, and I worked for 2 months to the middle of January. So in January of 2020, I was traveling back home from being in the office because I actually had an office in a different city. I worked in a hybrid kind of setup where I was in the office for a few days and then I would travel home and work the rest of the week from home. And I had just gotten home from the office. And when I got home, my manager at the time, which I don't consider this a good management move. In fact, I think it was a very poor leadership stance, but that's a whole nother conversation. My manager waited until I got all the way home from the office, and she called me to tell me my position was being eliminated. And here I was on the other end of the phone thinking, what just happened? Like, it was so detonating to me because I literally had just left the office and there was no face-to-face kind of conversation about this. But she waited until I got all the way home to call me and tell me that over the phone. And I will tell you, the wind was just taken out of my sail. At that moment, everything just came crashing in, and my immediate response was fear. It didn't matter the things that I had been working on because I had already started my journey to kind of coming out of my shell and showing up publicly. But in that instance, when she was on the other end of the phone telling me my job had been eliminated, I immediately waddled in fear. I was so taken back. And I'm telling you, getting that message is likely one of the most devastating things you can hear. You have to fight off taking it personally, even though it's not personal. It's obviously a business move at that point, especially given the level I was within the organization. It was definitely a business move, and I can understand that those types of decisions are made. I've unfortunately been on the side where I've had to let people go for different reasons, but when it happens to you, it is quite devastating. Well, fortunate for me, I was actually leaving in a few days from that phone call to go on vacation. We already had a vacation scheduled to go to Hawaii. And it just really was the perfect move for me to be able to take myself on a journey of renewal. And that's really what I want to talk about. You see, sometimes life circumstances come into play and we get overwhelmed by some event that happens that really knocks us off our feet. And how you recover and come out of that is actually the key point. How do you come out from the low place? And fortunate for me, I knew enough and I had enough faith to know that I could bounce back, that I could recover from this. But one of the things that I was very intentional about doing after getting that news was allowing myself grace and space to have my journey. And so I remember when we went on the vacation, I didn't share it with anybody. We had a group of people who were traveling with us, and I just didn't share the news. I didn't want to dampen the time, but I was very intentional about 7 steps that I took myself through on that journey. Now, the people who were with me, they knew every day I was waking up and saying, today is the day of this, and today is the day of that, but they really didn't understand what was behind that. And what I want to share right now, because there's a lot of us who are in the midst of transition, who are in the midst of making life decisions and really want some kind of guide to help navigate that, is I want to share with you that 7-day journey that I took myself on with intention. So every day I woke up with this mindset and perspective to claim the day. And there were different things that I focused on each day with the intention of allowing myself to go through the process of grieving what happened, but yet preparing for my next. And so day 1 is what I deemed as regroup. That was my day to regroup. And by definition, regroup means to stop for a short time and prepare yourself before you continue doing something that is difficult, to stop and think. And so on day 1, I spent time just really stopping everything, not allowing myself to swirl in my mind, not allowing myself to ruminate on what had occurred and what I thought about it and how insensitive I thought it was handled. I allowed all of that to go to the side and really allowed myself time to just regroup. Time to just slow it down and pull myself out of the emotion so that I did not snap, so that I did not spiral, but I allowed myself the grace to take my journey in a more effective way. And on day 2 was deemed reflect. So on day 2, I was focused on reflect. And reflect is something that comes back to you. As you're evaluating a situation or a circumstance, it's something that comes back to you. And this is a very intentional thing that I do to help me learn the lessons from the journey. Like, what am I supposed to get out of this experience? What does it mean for me next? Day 3 was just relax. So as I had regrouped and as I have reflected, day 3 was really just to relax, to allow my emotions to come all the way down, to allow myself to kind of feel in a good way what was happening in my life. Now, I had the luxury of being in Hawaii at the time, but relaxing means that you just kind of take a step back from the anxiousness of it and allow yourself to throttle down. Now, day 4 was refuel. Day 4 was really about how do I begin to feed into myself? How do I begin to draw into the power that I have, into the energy that I have, so that I could begin to pick myself up and get ready to move forward? Now, day 5 was restore. And restore is to return to that former condition, that place or position. And it didn't necessarily mean going back to the job or looking for another job, but what it did mean is I had to pick myself up from a confidence standpoint so that I knew that I could get back in the game and I could be restored. Day 6 was refresh, a refreshing. It was allowing myself to give new energy, new perspective, to be reinvigorated, to refresh as a part of the process. And then finally, day 7 was recommit. And that was just making a decision to commit to myself that I wasn't going to allow that blow to take me completely out. And I thought about this because it's such a powerful journey to go on when you're trying to navigate through a difficult space. And I know we're in the midst of Thanksgiving. I know we're in the midst of celebrating, but I also know that many of us are facing hard times. And so I wanted to share this 7-day perspective and make it available to you. Now, here's the good news. The good news is this. I have put this perspective together in a free ebook. And if you visit my website for my new podcast, you can get the ebook for absolutely free. Now, if you haven't heard the news, I have an absolutely new podcast, which is a sister to this one, and it's called I'm the Good Thing. Now, from my perspective, I am here to help women build a life that they love. And I'm the Good Thing is focused on who we are, and Embrace Your Power is focused on what we do. And so I invite you to go to imthegoodthing.com. It's the name of the website, and get the free ebook that will walk you through this 7-day journey that I took myself on. I know that it will be a blessing to you, and I know that it will help you. I also invite you to listen to the new podcast. Now, the format of it is different than this one in the sense that it's 5-minute episodes. So 3 days a week, I release 5-minute episodes with the intention to just be motivation for you on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I know sometimes listening to a longer episode is difficult, especially if you've got other things going on and you're trying to multitask. But I'm the Good Thing will infuse you with life wisdom and help energize you in a God kind of way. It's going to help shape your thinking about who you are and get you to seeing yourself the way God sees you. You see, leaning into that truth is what helps us eradicate fear. And so I want you to be a listener of I'm the Good Thing too. Now, I know it's Black Friday season and there's a ton of people making offers, and I am not going to publicly disclose my offer. But for those of you who tune in the podcast, then you will get the hookup. The hookup is this. Enrollment is open for my Power Play Mentor program, and I am offering $150 off of that program for a limited time in honor of this holiday season. So if you enroll in Power Play for the next cohort, which will be February and March, you can get $150 off through November 30th. Now, I am not going to publicize that at all. This is a special treat for those of you who tune into the podcast. Now, here's the value of a mentoring relationship. You see, navigating through experiences like what I just walked through when devastation hits, having a mentor on your team is a game changer. Mentors are there to help bring wisdom and insight to the table so that we can help you get to that next level, whatever the next level is for you. You see, for me, I want to be a part of your success journey. And even more than that, your goals become my goals. But at the same time, I love the fact that I get the chance to forge close relationships with those that I mentor. And when they need me in life, I can show up to pray for them, to support them, to encourage them, to help them navigate through. Now, yes, there's a structured 60-day program where I help you truly embrace your power, where I help you begin to shift your focus on who you are and what it is that you can achieve and do. But more than that, it's the relationship that we get to have together. And so I invite you to check out Power Play, www.powerplaymentor.live. And again, the discount code is Black Friday, one word. And when you key that in at checkout, you will get $150 off of the program through the end of this month. And I am not going to advertise that. So if you listen, then you got the hookup. I hope today was a blessing for you. Couple of call outs. Go to the imthegoodthing.com website so that you can get the free ebook, so that you can go through the 7-day process of personal renewal. If you need that, it's absolutely free. Be sure to check out the new podcast, I'm the Good Thing. It's available where podcasts are, and it's even available on TikTok if you follow me there at Denise Taylor Live. And lastly, take advantage of the Black Friday deal for Power Play. $150 off just by using the code Black Friday, one word. Thanks for checking in with me today. Don't eat too much. Be grateful for everything that God has blessed you with, and I'll see you next time. Well, that's it, beautiful. Thank you for tuning in. Don't ever forget that you are truly blessed with life, love, and all the happiness your heart can hold. Be relentless in building a life you love without apology. I'm Denise Taylor, and you can always find me in our free Facebook community. It's Embrace Your Power. Easy to find. Now be sure to rate and review this podcast and share it with a friend. And make sure you subscribe so that we can stay connected each week. And remember, God has not given us a spirit of fear. He gave us power. So be sure to always embrace your power and go.